All right. Well, I do respect those who are here and on time. So let's go ahead and move forward here, I'd imagine. Give me just a second. Oh, there's Leanne.
Is my screen showing the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Do you have this and the other one?
I do not have the other one. Was it saved in the Y drive?
Yeah, it is. It's just entitled self-care.
Okay, I can open it to when we get to that part. It's later in the presentation, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or Carrie, if you want to email that to her, maybe that might be better.
Yep, I'm emailing it right now to you, Randy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get to a little transition. I think when you'll see it'll make sense when we'll transition there. Anyway, thank you for coming. I know it is a busy time of the year. Leanne, I know you're not feeling well either. Oh, Fran, welcome. Again, we always just want to welcome any opportunity to collaborate and to begin to just share with each other what we do, the work we do, and how we do it better when we work together doing it. So thank you for being here. Switch. No. I know, again, it is that time of year where we are busy, both personally and professionally. It can be a very difficult time of the year for many people, although it's, we're programmed to say it's the happiest time of year, and that's not always the case. But just wanted to pause and just acknowledge that we have made it to another holiday season, and always wishing the best for everyone as we move through. Okay, what do we have next? So just wanted to pause and take a second. The one thing that we don't want to do is just to do something to check off a box. But today we wanted to take a moment to just reflect on the things that we've gotten to do throughout the year as we're stepping into a new year. Some of the highlights with the fact that we had a successful walk in 2 counties, that we've had different educational opportunities, that we've also been able to pass out information and have really good conversations about recovery. And we just look forward to continuing on. The fact that we have a jailer who is continuing to work with starting recovery meetings in the jail. That's something that's continuously happening. I'm not exactly sure what's went on, but I did confirm with him yesterday that we do anticipate to start in the beginning of the year. So that's something that's never happened before. There's also some new recovery meetings that have started. And we are really excited about that. A new NA meeting that started on Wednesdays at Tazwood at noon. And then in the beginning of the year, there's going to be smart recovery option that's going to be starting at Salvation Army. So there'll be more information of that to come. As well as I've had the opportunity to sign up to become a smart recovery facilitator. So I'm excited to learn about that and see how I can bring that to the community to have another option or another pathway to recovery. So super excited about those things to come. Again, we are really adamant about chipping away at the stigma when it comes to recovery or living in recovery, how we can help to change the narrative and help for people to see that it's not just I always refer to the intervention, the show where it shows all the gore and the back alley type stuff, but we really want to begin to present what it looks like to live in recovery and for people to be thriving and to just give a different viewpoint on what recovery in action looks like. So We look forward. Please, if you have any events in your community or in your organization, please share them with us. One, we would love to partner with you and be there as well, but we would also love to help promote and help get the word out too. So please include us in that so that we can help each other, and anywhere we can collaborate on different events that you may have and something that we can also support. We really want to do that. We understand that it's a big part of reciprocation of helping each other out through this process. That's what it's all about. So we continuously appreciate your partnership with us and look forward to what's coming ahead. Move forward. One of the things that we just wanted to highlight still is that we're wanting to gather stories of hope on our recovery story sharing program. Kat has moved on and is actually working as the recovery specialist for the McLean County ROSC. However, the platform she's created and whatnot are still in place, and anyone that you know of or can think of who's interested in sharing their story, again, creating other pathways to change the narrative of what recovery looks like. We really want to partner and help with that. So if you know of anyone who, hey, have you ever thought of sharing your story? Or even if you're not sure how to bring it to them and you'd like to share my information with them or their information with me, I'd be willing to reach out to them and see if it's something they're interested in. But, we really do make a difference when we share our stories with one another. So there's that. Again, we have our recovery in action meeting for the winter times. We are having them still on the second Tuesday of the month, but we changed the time earlier in the day to 4:30. If you need any flyers or a digital copy of this to be able to share with other people, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to bring some by or email it to you. This is really an invite for those who are interested. A lot of people who have personal lived experience are part of this group, our recovery in action group, but it is, we just want to be able to continuously create safe spaces, all things recovery. So I think that's one of the things that can be a little difficult, especially coming from different 12-step programs or different ideas of recovery. This concept of we don't promote one over the other. Our concept of ROSC is truly all things recovery are welcome here, and all things that will help enable you to live a successful life. We want to help promote that, whatever that looks like. And so we would like to get more voices involved, more people with lived experience, both through family members or their own personal lived experience. So if you know of anyone, or again, you'd like any flyers, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to get some to you. Again, we wanted to highlight one of the things is the Recovery Support Specialist Program. One of the ways that peer support is going to benefit what we're doing more and more is by connecting those of us who've had that lived experience with the education component that's going to make us employable. And not just employable, but really help us build that workforce that's going to bring that peer support component that's missing. We are really the only ones that can build that up by promoting this opportunity, by encouraging those around us, talking to different people's employers or HR to start depositing or even asking the question, would they consider to have a peer support person in their office? And my hope is to see one at, CYFS, at DCFS, at the probation office, anywhere where we have people going through to experience these type of difficulties, or sometimes it feels like barriers, obstacles, where peer support can be an asset to someone walking through that. So we're wanting to just promote this and added a QR code so you can get more information or just promote it to those around you. Okay, so we've come to this thing. I know we talk a lot. We've talked a lot throughout the year. I know you've all heard my voice a lot, but one of the things that we want to pause and just ask, what is missing, right? And some of us will, we have probably a list of things, and I just put if you want to just hit that next button, Randy. And a lot of times we say, could it be, I don't know, hit it, enter money, right? We could totally be money, time, we could totally be missing. What else? Resources we feel like we're missing. But today I really want to talk about self-care. That's exactly what I want to talk about. So we're going to from transition here to the one that Carrie sent you. Self-care, y'all. I was thinking about what we could do today, what we could bring to the table, knowing the time of year it is. And one of the things that I know very well for myself is that taking care of other people, serving in the capacity of, and the way that we all do. I find that when we do it best is when we don't always exercise it best for ourselves. And so I just wanted to give us a moment to pause, and hopefully take it as a moment of appreciation for what you do and how you do what you do, by just allowing us permission to talk about self-care. We are a lot of times on demand and first line folks where there's a lot that's demanded on us. And so allowing ourselves permission to acknowledge that self-care is actually so vital in what we do. And I don't know if anyone else, right? It's so easy to talk about it, but I don't know, is anyone, even with your little hands on your screen or whatever, I mean, does anyone else struggle with self-care, or is it just me, like me by myself? I don't know. I can't see anyone
I
else.
struggle with self-care.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Leanne. Carrie, thank you for the paw up. I see it. So we just want to take a minute. If you want to move forward, Randy. So in this, again, I want to make it light, but I do hope that we walk away with the understand the self-care, what it is and how important it is for us, and develop even just a small care plan, and how to put that self-care plan into action. So again, it's really just being intentional about carving out this moment to take care of ourselves. This is the video I couldn't get to play on mine, but it's just a little something if we can just go ahead and enjoy.
This holiday, master your kitchen with Wayfair.
Maybe.
Is it sharing?
No, it's not playing.
No, it's not. Okay. Let's see. I'll figure it out.
Okay. If not, I can probably just talk us through that video. Oh,
I see the YouTube video now, Randy.
yeah, I do too. Thank you for playing that. I'm sorry there was no sound. There was a,
It's like inspirational music. Sorry.
yes, it was inspirational music. However,
Ignore all of my
okay.
recommendations that say to listen to more Harry Styles music. That was on my YouTube.
Well, hopefully, if you were able to follow along, just that gives us that picture, right? We carry a lot, again, not just for ourselves, but for others around us. And so, how we carry it, how long we carry it matters. And so we're just going to look at some aspects of self-care, some things to think about. Self-care, right? It's personal. Everyone's approach will and should be different. It relates to what you do at work and outside of work to look after yourself. Some of the things to think about, workplace or professional, physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, and relational. So, I mean, we struggle with some of these things in different capacities, but ultimately we have to remember that we are our own person and what works for us. What I have found, and correct me if anyone has something different, but I found that there is things that I have tried one season of my life that didn't work at all, but then tried it a different season and it helped me or whatever that was. And so being flexible and fluid to be able to try new things to help take care of ourselves can be so important, but that it doesn't have to look like anyone else's plan, that it definitely is your self plan. And I think that's one thing that makes us great at what we do, is that we know this isn't a cookie cut process. And that includes taking care of ourselves also. Just a few physical self-care tools. This one I can really struggle with, but it's so important for us to be strict with our boundaries between the folks we work with, our coworkers, families, and other relationships, right? We can understand that, healthy boundaries are good for ourselves and the other person. But when we work and see a lot of the things that we've seen, it can be really difficult to set those boundaries. So being good to ourselves, knowing that it's not a selfish thing, but a very important thing for us to maintain and continue what we do. Just as well as developing a regular sleep routine. I don't know about y'all, but that can be real difficult depending on what we have going on, but it is so important. And when we get that piece right, it can really make a big difference for us. As well as to aim to have more of a healthy diet and take your allotted lunch break. Okay, how many of you actually step away from your computer and take a break? I'm just curious. I know that's one thing that's hard. Let's just do one more thing. And so being able to take care of other people well, and not taking care of ourselves, we're still falling short. So again, giving ourselves permission to do that. Use your sick time from work if you need it. And that exercise component about moving, and even if that is just a walk, there's a phrase that I've heard for many years is move a muscle, change a thought. So sometimes just moving around can just change the way we feel, and then change the way and then the decisions that we make. So just a few physical things to think about. Also some spiritual, psychological, and emotional self-care, right? Those who go to a place of worship, a church, a mosque, a temple. Allowing yourself to turn off all your screens, right? When's the last time that you've allowed yourself to just not be accessible? It almost feels like that's wrong, or we're doing something that's inconsiderate. But it really does prove to help take care of ourselves, while hopefully develop supportive relationships, indulge in hobbies or pastimes, keep a reflective journal. I know these things are not things you're hearing for the first time. It's things that you all probably even teach other people, but it really is just taking a minute to personalize for yourself, and just taking a moment to identify when's the last time that you have made some time to relax and engage with positive people, right? And giving ourselves permission to do those things. So just some ideas: pray, meditate, yeah, And one of the ways to help create your own plan, again, each person is so individual, but just some ideas for each category we went over to select at least 1 or 2 strategies that you can undertake. You might notice that those areas overlap between these categories. You can do that by writing it out, typing it up for my studious folks, chicken scratch, whatever. But just to help you see it, it does make a big difference too, to write something down in your own handwriting to hold yourself accountable. And it helps us stick to it. And then to reassess in 30 days and see if there's any changes that need to be made, successes that you want to acknowledge. But again, to remind yourself that self-care is not selfish, right? It is not. As a matter of fact, to best take care of others, we are instructed to take care of ourselves. And so it really is part of the equation, and just what I hope to allow us to just do that for today. And hoping that you all can just think of 1 or 2 things that you want to. I had a friend this morning that just had a lot of sickness go through her house, and she felt a lot of pressure with Christmas decorations and everything. And so she's made the decision. She put all the Christmas decorations away, cleaned up her house, and thought, that's how I'm taking my peace back. I'm good. And it's just making those choices, deciding what makes the most sense for you and how for you to keep your own peace. And that doesn't always look like what everyone else is doing. So, and our last slide, just a reminder that taking care of ourselves doesn't mean me first. It just means me too. For a lot of us caretakers, we don't always have a choice of when someone needs us or when someone wants something from us. But just a reminder of that is what I wanted to take a moment to think of. I love that too, right, Leanne? It's again, it's just the humility. It's not thinking of us less, but thinking of myself less often, right? But self-care is vital. And just again, just to say thank you. Thank you for all that you do. I think that's on the last slide there, Randy. Yes, there it is. Thank you for all you do. We sincerely appreciate the work you do. We can't do this work without you. And again, we know this is a busy time of year, but we look forward to continuing the collaboration. If you want to pop it back into the other. So I did want to make room, like I said, I just wanted to be intentional about us taking a moment to reflect on some self-care. We can get so busy and adamant about many things this time of year, but I'm hoping that we can hear some type of update from anyone out there who's willing to share.
So Jeanette,
Yes.
you'd asked me about the recovery meetings in the jail.
Yes.
I did talk to Rod, and he feels like after the Christmas holiday that can start taking place.
Great. I'm glad you got the same news too, Kim. He emailed me yesterday. And so that's the same thing that I heard as well. So that's exciting.
Yeah,
Thank you
and
for
then
that.
just a tiny update on the housing project with Fifth Street.
Yes.
We're just trying to run down a lot of information that the city asked. Some of it's related to what kind of a maintenance issues would there be, and or you know, things that need to be done for some things to get started. So we're doing a little bit of that and talking to the city, and I think we hopefully will have an update soon. We're just trying to do a lot of legwork right now. That might make something happen for them to accept it on our behalf, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, Kim. Thank you for that update. And those of you who may not know, there's just been a group of multiple agencies and individuals who've been gathering together for better than 6 months now, talking about different ways to bring in housing, some emergency housing, recovery housing, some type of housing. Perhaps it's going to start as veteran housing, but no matter how it starts, we have a body of people who are working together with the potential building. The city has gotten wind of it and is asking some questions, and folks are working to get those answers, but we're hoping to have ultimately a collaboration where we could really join agencies and different folks together to really offer some comprehensive recovery community.
So, and on that note, and Jeanette, I know you were at the meeting last week where this issue came up, but another similar issue came up today. So last week it was brought up that we don't have recovery for young people, meaning juveniles.
Right.
So I know you were there for that. I think we should make that a priority. I think I've had some thoughts about it myself. I let Jeff Gray know about it since he's starting that smart recovery. And I told him, Jeanette, to talk to you
Yeah.
and Kendra about that. The other thing that was brought up to me today was the fact that we really don't have Al-Anon or any support for the families of people in recovery either.
Well,
Like
there's
an
an
Al-Anon.
Al-Anon on
Tuesdays.
Tuesday nights. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned that, and the person was like, oh, well, I've researched it, it's not anywhere. And so I didn't have anything in front of me, and I couldn't remember if it was the codependency meeting, but anyway.
I'll verify that, but I'm pretty certain that that's still out
That's
there.
what I thought, but I wasn't gonna throw down
Right.
about it at the moment.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'll
So
verify though, just
if-
so that we can make sure.
even if it's there, the
Mhm.
point being that if someone, and actually this was someone from the city related to the housing thing,
Uh-huh.
if they can't find it and don't know about it, and for whatever reason they had an interest or somebody they know had an interest in it, then we need to do a better job making sure that people know that it's there if it does, if it is happening.
100% agree. 100% agree. You know, that's why ideally it seems like it would be so great to when there will be an RCO or a brick and mortar something so that, you know, it doesn't have to be here, there, and everywhere, but we will work to get more of those cards out. I know that's one way we've tried to help streamline and send people to the right places.
Yeah, and I told them that. I said, you know, we have ROSC, and absolutely that is part of the model. If we don't have it, then yes, we would welcome someone to use that facility for those purposes. So yeah, it did come up today.
Okay, yeah. Well, yes, that was another thing. There not being a recovery meeting for an adolescence. And so the question is, you know, who do we begin that conversation with? Do we start that conversation in the high school to see if that's an area? Is there another?
Honestly, I was going to have a conversation with Sense
Mhm,
and find out, all right, Sense, what can you do? And I
mhm,
don't mean her personally, but I just had some thoughts because it is touchy because they are kids.
right.
And kind of see if she wants to help with that, because she's obviously, she brought it up, and
Right.
she carries a lot of weight.
And yeah, and then, or would it be, you know, starting that opportunity for those who are already DCFS involved? And so we
Well,
just,
and that's what I was thinking. And,
Yeah.
and, you know, maybe they would provide the location because that's
Right.
clearly an appropriate location for it. And kind of go from there and just see what, and I also actually thought about this, not that it's the best venue, but it might help to start it off, is to create a local Zoom meeting for juveniles. Then you take out the part of confidentiality or location issues or concerns, you
Mhm.
know, and I don't know, that was just a thought. I was sort of just brainstorming myself after that came up.
Yeah. No, I think it's gonna be, I don't think that there's a right or wrong right now. I think I don't know what other people are doing, and maybe that's something else is researching what other folks are already doing.
And I can reach out about that and ask that question.
I
One thing
know
I-
that,
Mhm.
excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, that's fine, friend.
I'm doing a youth resource directory, so I've been trying to track down resources for youth. I know that there is a Zoom meeting for Alateen on the website. Now they have to register. They don't have to use their name.
Mhm.
There's also a 24/7 chat line for Alateen. I have some more resources, but I don't have them in front of me right now.
Mhm.
We can talk about that again some more.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I have found that they do offer online.
Well, thank you,
They-
Fran, 'cause, yeah, I'm sure you're finding those supports are far and in between. So thank you for sharing that.
They also, I don't know what card you're referring to, but they also offer Al-Anon meetings online.
Mhm.
So if the
Awesome.
people are wanting it and they want it now, which I understand that there's a great need for it. And especially in the smaller communities, there's not a whole lot in the larger communities as well, but there is more. But just for a temporary fix until you can get your RCO or a place, that might be something to think about to put out there.
Yeah. Awesome, Fran. Thank you. I see a question from Stephen that the CODA meeting at the church on Tuesdays at 6. Is the Al-Anon meeting not happening upstairs anymore? That would be, I'll have to confirm to see if that meeting's still happening. When I did the last cards, they were, so that was like 4 months ago. But I'll confirm and see if,
Did you update the cards?
yeah,
Can you send me that update for the loganmasonresources.org? Because I don't have one that has Al-Anon on it.
yes, ma'am. I can. And then I added CR, Celebrate Recovery, meets on Thursdays. Any other updates from folks that would like to share anything? Again, there's a new meeting, an NA meeting that started at Taswood, which is the old LCU alumni building, 1231 Keokuk, on Wednesdays at noon. Yeah. I'm trying to think of if there's any other updates. Not that I can think of at this moment. Oh, just a second. Okay, CODA only. All right. Well, thank you for that information too, because we can see about offering. That would be nice to be able to have a place for folks to tap into online meetings. I wonder if that's something that, I don't know, that's another conversation to be had. Our next meeting for the new year is going to be January 19th at 2 p.m. Please follow us on our social media. I know this was a little bit of a different meeting today, but again, just wanted to carve out a moment to take some self-care or some time for self-care. If you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, if you have any ideas that we don't know about, people we're missing at the table. If you can show the contact information, please take a pic of my contact information, email me, whatever. Randy, can you put the next slide? So sorry. Yeah, there's my email address, telephone number, but please don't hesitate. And that goes for those. We do know that there are people that do go back and watch these that are unable to come during this time. And so that includes you all too. If you're watching this to the very end, please don't hesitate to reach out with your ideas, your comments, your questions. And if you want to be more involved, I just see Brandon on the call with us today. Hey, I just wanted to, I've heard your name a bit. We haven't necessarily got to connect, but just want you to know that there's definitely room at the table, brother, if you're interested in getting more involved. There's my telephone number too, if you want to text or email me on the screen. But we'd love to get more input from you and more people with lived experience at the table. So thank you for being here. Other than that, y'all, I'm not going to hold you hostage. I appreciate you taking your time. Is there anything that anyone else does have on their mind right now that they'd like to share or put out there for now? Okie dokie. Well, we definitely wish you a happy holiday. And again, remember to take some time to take care of yourself. Thank you for what you do. We can't do it without you. And we look forward to an exciting full year. 2023, y'all, it is coming. So yeah, finally, right? Well, I'm gonna hang back just for a second if anyone needs to connect, if that's okay, Randy. But thank you for being here and blessings to you all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.